Let's talk about headlines outside of Wall Street. There is a lot going on, whether it's the conflict in Gaza, the situation between Russian forces and Ukraine forces. Should investors at this point really be considering moving into safer assets?
Wow. The volatility or the geopolitical tensions, which have always been a consistent part of the investment landscape, have really flared up of late. And in fact, some of the more recent events have supplanted some of the earlier concerns that we had with tensions between the U.S. and China. Mm-hmm. So that's fallen into a back burner status. But it has caused a lot of investors to get nervous, and they've moved more into treasuries. The value of the dollar has gone up. The question is that something that's going to last, or if it's going to be temporary? And we believe that it's going to be temporary. So from my perspective, it's probably more of a buying opportunity for equities, for investors in here, than it is selling.
Even though at this point we're seeing the Dow and S&P at record highs, is there really still a buying opportunity? This is one of these ongoing questions we start to have when we look at markets hit valuation levels.
Well, the process that I use in managing the allocation strategy funds, I'm looking for three things. I'm looking for attractive entry points into reasonably valued assets that have an improving macro backdrop. So when I look at valuations for the S&P 500, I see that they are essentially in line with their 15-year median. So in other words, they're not expensive. You can look at the developed markets overseas and you'll find that their relative valuations are somewhat lower. Probably some of the better valuations are actually in the emerging markets. And so one of the things that's been encouraging to me is that I see a relatively attractive valuation in the emerging markets. I see better growth numbers coming out of China, for example, and that tells me that we probably have a more favorable opportunity there overseas than we may have domestically.